Hey T Squad, it's me Keisha, and I'm here with this week's All Tea All Shade Real Housewives of Orange County Season 18 Episode 6 review. Want to remind you guys by saying if you have not watched my Temu haul video, make sure you do so you can get that $100 coupon bundle code. The video is up right now. So on this week's episode, Heather and Emily get together. They're doing a little bit of shopping, and Heather asks, why did Emily and Jenn get into it at the dinner party that Gina threw the night before? And we see a flashback of Emily telling Jenn that she needs to sell her Rolex to pay off some of her bills, and she called her stupid. And I was like, dang, why didn't y'all show us any of that argument? Like, that didn't need to be a flashback. We needed to see that. And I kind of felt bad for Jenn because they just be cussing her out and going off on her, and she just be sitting there looking like a deer in headlights, not knowing what to say or what to do. Now, do I agree with what Emily says? Yeah, if you are in debt and you owing people back rent and all of this stuff, and say for instance you don't have the cash to do it, but you have things that you can sell to get you out of this predicament, then why don't you? She told me I'm not selling my watch, it was a gift. But the gift don't even work because Emily said that she asked her the time, and the girl couldn't even give her the time, said that the Rolex was broke. So I'm like, girl, the Rolex don't even work. If you don't go to sell that thing so you can get out of debt, like, come on now. It's like Jenn want to continue to live high on the hog, but you got a beer budget, girl, and you trying to have champagne dreams, and it just ain't working out. But do I think that they need to be going as hard on her as they are? No, because y'all don't really know this girl. She been around now for this her second season. If she want to not pay her bills, let her not pay her bills. That's her business. I wouldn't care that much. So Gina apparently told Jenn and Shannon that Emily being close to Tamra has changed her, and that they compete to see who can be the bigger bitch. And I was very shocked this past year when I started noticing that Emily and Tamra were like good Judies, because sometimes I tune in to Two T's in a Pod to hear what they got to say on different topics, and I noticed that Emily was on there a lot, and I was like, when did Emily and Tamra get so cool that she's filling in for Tamra when Tamra's not around? I was like, where'd that come from? Like, okay. So I do see why Emily is kind of like, I do get why Gina is kind of like side-eyeing Emily, like, where all this come from? Like, now you friends with Tamra of all people? Like, okay. And Emily has always been a biz naive, especially to like Heather and like Shannon or whatever. So I don't really think that her personality has really truly changed. I think that Gina is starting to notice it more because she's kicking it with somebody that she don't really care for real. Because she know what Tamra is. She know how Tamra is, and we all know how Tamra is. So I think that's what's making her kind of side-eye Emily now. Katie is now weary of Gina because of the whole Heather situation and all of this. And she and Heather both feel betrayed by Gina. And I feel kind of bad for Gina because she's getting painted as the villain when honestly, truly, she didn't do anything wrong. Like, Katie told her this before filming even began. She told her, don't open your mouth. Don't bring this up to nobody else. Basically, I'm going to act like I ain't even heard that. We're going to keep that between me and you. Do not bring this up. Katie decided she wanted to be cool and open her mouth and tell Emily of all people. And as soon as Emily found the opportunity, she brought it up in front of Tamra. And you knew it was going to get back to Heather at that point because Emily got it out for Heather. She always trying to figure out a way to stick it to her. And it's the same thing for Tamra. Like, if Tamra can flip the script on anybody and make them look crazy, she's going to take the opportunity to do it. So I don't get why Gina is taking the brunt of all of this when she told the girl, do not open her mouth. She didn't even open her mouth until Emily. Like, she kept it to herself. It wasn't that big of a deal to go running to Heather about it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel bad for Gina because she shouldn't be the scapegoat for this whole situation. And then, Katie saying that she don't know if she can trust Gina and stuff now. It's like, girl, you did this to yourself. She told you don't bring it up. So why are you now upset with her when you did it? Like, girl, stop. You knew what you was doing when you decided to do it. It's nobody else's fault but yours. So while Gina and Katie are out shopping, Shannon joins them and tells them that she officially got, the lawsuit saying that Johnny J is suing her for $75,000 plus interest. So they just like, dang, like they feel so bad for Shannon. So Gina invites them to come to La Quinta to have a little, quick little girls weekend to get away. But Katie can't come because she was already invited to Big Bear with Tamra. And so Shannon was kind of looking like, oh, well, I guess, of course I'm not invited. And I guess Alexis will be. Tamra, Katie, Jenn, and Alexis go to Big Bear. Emily, Gina, Shannon, and Heather go to La Quinta. And they're going to be staying at a house that Gina is trying to sell for a former housewife from like 3 seasons ago. She was doing a COVID season, if I'm not mistaken. The house is absolutely fantastically beautiful. The property was gorgeous. The landscaping, the pool, everything was just immaculately done. The house is going to sell for $8 million. That's going to be a great commission check for Gina if she's able to sell it. So once they get to the house, Gina starts to regret even inviting them because the girl house is pretty much all white. She know that these girls can kind of get rowdy. Shannon had brought chili. So she kind of like, I don't know if this was a smart idea, especially considering she just staged the house and she's trying to sell it and quickly she realizes that this was a mistake. Over at the other girls, as they're heading to Big Bear, Alexis talks about Johnny J the whole ride, and everybody in that car was like, God help us if she don't shut the hell up talking about this man. Like, Alexis is just as annoying as she used to be, but now I feel like it's even worse. Like, I cannot handle her, and you can't tell me Tamra didn't want to tell her to shut the hell up. But Tamra is doing what Tamra does best. She's sitting back and letting Alexis tell everything so she can then take all the information that Alexis gives her and store it up in that little pea brain of hers so she can use it against her next season when she decides she's done with her. She no longer needs her, and now Alexis is going to be her new target. Watch what I say. And back over at the other house in La Quinta, Heather drops a shaker. She's making a drink and she dropped the shaker on the ground. So the contents get to spilling out all over the floor and Gina is freaking out. Thank God it was clear liquid. So Heather gets it up and then literally here go Emily using the shaker and she drops it too on accident. And her drink spilled all over the floor, on the cabinets and everything. But hers was not clear. It was actually a red color. So Gina is really freaking out. Like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, she is freaking out. Like, what is happening? But they clean it up. Everybody's laughing, but you could tell Gina was on edge very much. And back over in Big Bear, Alexis continues to showcase how dingy she is. You can tell Tamra was losing it. Tamra does not like this chick. She is so tolerating her for the moment to stick it to Shannon. And like I said, to use Alexis for all she can get out of her. But you can tell she was looking like, oh, I cannot stand this bitch. This dumb bitch here. Like, because Alexis is literally the pure definition of a dumb blonde. Like, she really honestly is, and it's sad. So the girls over in La Quinta are making hot dogs and stuff, trying to have a dinner. And Shannon and Emily go outside and sit at the table and have a little moment alone to talk. And Shannon tells Emily that when she went shopping with Gina and Katie, that they both said that they thought that she was angrier, here lately or whatever. And Gina was like, I can see myself being a little bit out of character here lately. I was a little aggressive when it came to Jenn. And she admits that lashing out at Jenn was inappropriate. And Shannon was like, Gina said before her dinner that you're so far up Tamra's ass that you've become more aggressive and meaner. Emily doesn't feel like she's more aggressive. She was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've always been aggressive. I've always been mean. But she also feels like if Gina felt that way, that she should have came to her. So now she's pissed. She is mad, honey. And I'm looking at Shannon like, why did you do that? Why did you run and tell that girl what was said? Like, are you trying to start stuff because you said you weren't, but you actually are, because Emily's going to get mad. You know what I'm saying? But Shannon tried to paint it like she's just concerned about their friendship. She don't want them to get into it. If that's the case, you should have let Gina tell Emily how she feels. Like, Shannon was being messy in that scene. I don't know if the producers told her to run and tell that to get stuff started, but Shannon was being messy, very messy, very, very messy. So they go back inside and Emily walk in and just glares at Gina. And Gina was like, what's wrong with you? And she was like, nothing. And she was like, you sure? Like, what's going on? And she was like, nothing. But everybody can tell something is wrong with her. Like, the energy, the mood, everything literally shifted. So, Emily, once they have dinner, because it's so awkward, nobody's talking, she finally confronts Gina on what Shannon told her. And Heather was like, she's not the one who's changed. You've changed. And Gina was like, you think I've changed? And she was like, yeah, most definitely. And Emily agrees with Heather. She was like, she was all about Katie. She loved Katie. Then she had a conversation with Heather and you were ready to throw Katie out the door. And they showed us flashbacks of Gina being like, if she's going to be going against Heather, this, that, and the third, then I don't want to have anything to do with Katie or whatever. And Gina was like, well, I was disappointed in her. And Heather was like, well, how is that possible when you knew what she was doing the whole time? But this is the thing. And I think that Gina isn't explaining herself correctly, to tell her how everything went down. And I think it's doing her a disservice. Via those flashbacks, it did kind of seem like she was just like, I don't want to have nothing to do with her now. I don't want to be involved, this, that, and the third. I don't think it was that big of a situation for her just to be like, I don't want to have nothing to do with this girl now, this, that, and the third. Yeah, you told her don't bring it up. She brought it up. But that's not a reason to end trying to build a friendship with her. It was given very much, I don't want to be on Heather's bad side, so I'm just not going to deal with her, period. It was given ass kisser to me. Over in Big Bear, the girls go out to dinner and Tamra tells Katie that Gina hung her out to dry. Here she go, starting stuff, planting seeds of discord. So Katie was like, the night before her little golf event, she says that Gina told her, I don't agree with everything you think, but you need to talk to Heather or I will. Tamra was like, do you feel she hyped you up? And Katie says, in the moment, no. But at the golf event, I looked over at Gina defending Heather, and Heather goes, all of us agree this isn't true. And Gina was like, yeah. And I'm like, am I slow? Because you're trying to make it seem like she switched up on you in that moment, but she didn't switch up on you. She said to you verbatim, I don't agree with everything you think, and you need to talk to her. I'm going to tell her myself. She didn't switch up on you at all, and that's why I feel like Gina's getting a bad rap. Over in La Quinta, Heather starts going in on Gina and says that, this affected her kids. I'm like, girl, that shit didn't affect your kids. This whole paparazzi thing and them thinking that, they daddy was cheap. Girl, stop. Them kids over there trying to figure out who they are. Your kids was not that affected. You're trying to make a mountain out of a molehill just so you could be the victim and have a reason to be upset with Gina. So stop. So Gina was like, I'm never allowed to make a mistake with you. And I agree, because you do anything to Heather, it's immediately, I'm upset and I need a moment. And basically you in a doghouse until she feel like you've groveled enough and she's willing to forgive you. Girl, the hell with Heather, the bro. Okay. And Heather was like, no, that's not true. And Gina was like, no, it is very much true. So back over in Big Bear, Tamra tells Katie that she was set up. And so now Katie feels like Gina set her up. How did she set you up? You the one put this thing in motion. If you would have shut your mouth, none of this would have happened. So I just don't understand how that Gina is at fault. Gina tells Heather and the girls that she told Katie to not bring it up and that she don't care what Katie says, because now it's a whole thing about when did she tell her not to bring it up, or was it a day or two or 10 minutes before? Girl, it was a whole thing about a time difference, child. So Heather was like, I feel betrayed by you. And Heather says she's going to try to move forward. Girl, that's not true at all. Back at Tamra's house, the girls are fooling around in their little bear pajamas, and Tamra has Jenn do some OnlyFans footage with her feet so she can start making money. It was really funny. And then it got real gross when she had Jenn put her feet in the apple pie and she then licked the apple pie filling off of her feet, and it was disgusting. And I was like, girl, ugh. So after that, Alexis tells them not to bring up the S word, meaning Shannon. Like, she immediately was like, don't bring up the S word, because somebody brought up Shannon's name, and she like freaked out. So Jenn was like, when do you just stop? Because everybody looking at her like, you're acting like a psychopath. You acting like Shannon has done something to you. Like, this is weird. So Alexis says, if she wasn't making up lies about Johnny J, then I would. I'm so over him being amused and lied about. Johnny is ready to talk, and I have videos. And it's like, let's remember that at this point, they've only been dating like 3 months. Like, what is... And I wish somebody would say that to her, like, girl, you look crazy, right? Like, you look absolutely insane going this hard behind a man you've been dating for 3 months, and you just believe anything that come out this man's mouth. Like, you're that desperate, you're that gullible, you that fame hungry. I don't know what is your problem, but you need to chill out. And it's bothering me that the girls don't say that to her. Like, regardless if you like Shannon or not, you doing team too much, girl. Like, you act like she's done something to you. You the one that's dating somebody she literally just broke up with 5 minutes ago. Like, stop. Tamra was like, he has videos of Shannon from the night of the DUI. And Alexa's like, if she doesn't stop lying, Tamra says he'll expose it. And I was like, doesn't that ring a ding ding in your head, Alexis, that this guy is malicious and he's doing any and everything to stay relevant and to hurt this girl? Because, like, what is the point of showing any video footage from that night? The damage has already been done. Whatever she said before she got in that car and sped off, unless she was spewing racist remarks or something or homophobic remarks, like, what is it that can make her look even worse is what I want to know. And even Jenn in her confessional is like, what does these videos matter? Like, it's wrong, and she doesn't agree with it. And I wish instead of her saying that in a confessional, she would say it out loud, and others will too, because Alexis needs to be stopped. Because, like, girl, you look crazy. You look crazy and you look pathetic and you doing too much. And please believe everything that he's done to Shannon, he gonna do to you, dumb. Ugh. So that was my review of this week's episode of Orange County. The girls are showing up to work. They're clocking in, and I'm really enjoying this season. The trailer for the next season of New York came out. It looks really good. I'm really excited about it. We got a teaser about Salt Lake City coming very soon. So I'm super excited about Salt Lake City returning. We got some good stuff on the horizon, folks. I'm going to give this week's episode of Orange County, I'm going to give it a B+. It was a really good episode. Let's talk about it down below in the comment section, you guys. Please make sure to thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your post notifications so you know when my videos drop. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.